Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? Robert Kardashian destroyed evidence that would have convicted O.J. He was handed a Louis Vuitton garment bag by O.J.'s assistant right as O.J. returned from Chicago. None of the cops paid any attention to him as he walked away with the bag. When the bag theory was discovered a month later, Kardashian claimed to have lost it. The Reddit search function is intentionally bad, or not purposely bad, but they know how to fix it but refuse to encourage more new posts. Apple started the meme about AirPods being expensive as a marketing ploy. P2 is controlled opposition run by the meat industry designed to make animal rights activists look bad. That the government made this post to see if we were onto them. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you googled Disney Frozen you would get information about the movie and not websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. Michael Jordan's first retirement was actually a suspension by the NBA because of his gambling. The real reason Apple removed the headphone jack was to try to remove Square Pay systems as a competitor for Apple Pay. Rob Gronkowski didn't actually injure his groin after scoring his 69th career touchdown, he just thought it would be funny/appropriate. Snapchat worked with the FBI to popularize, and secretly test and improve, face recognition technology. We went from "wow, this is like magic" to "this is totally normal" in a few years, and there's no way that the technology isn't being by law enforcement. Lotteries are actually traps for time travelers. Trader Joe's makes their parking lots small on purpose to make them seem more popular than they really are. Kyle Kinane. The development of the F-35 fighter jet is so over budget so the military can fund other top secret projects without making a new line item on the budget. It's the only conspiracy theory I believe. D.B. Cooper, the gentleman that disappeared with $200K after jumping out of a Boeing 727 that he had hijacked, took the money and created www.imdb.com. I always hear the advice that in order to stop being heckled by Scientologists, just ask where Shelley went or ask about the circumstances of her disappearance. It usually shuts them up. Mattress firms aren't only holding mattresses, buddy. One of my favorites is that the government was behind #Throwback Thursday in order to get us to digitize and upload pictures that they would not have had access to in order to improve age progression/facial recognition algorithms. I don't know about TBT, but the 10-year challenge provided anyone who wanted to grab it a massive amount of training material for a face recognition AI. That the CIA post this question every time so they know what the general public suspect. YouTube in a mobile browser is so shitty so they can force you to use the app and not use an ad blocker. Multiple football World Cups have been influenced either by governments hosting them, or other entities out for their own gain. 2002 South Korea/Japan and 1978 in Argentina are the two most obvious ones that come to mind. Long John Silver's is some kind of money laundering scheme on the basis that they have been open for as long as I can remember, but I have also literally never seen a busy Long John's. Toxic delusion that I ironically entertain? Perhaps. The oil and coal industries invested heavily in killing off nuclear power as an attractive alternative. These days we have reactor designs many times safer than other methods of generating power, and the waste issue is something that could be fixed with sufficient investment. The government experiments on the mentally insane because no one will believe someone with that kind of medical history. Bob Vance was just trying to plug his business to the cameras every time he introduced himself. Everyone should learn to code is a movement to flood the market with software engineers so that salaries can be reduced. That's also why they're dropping software engineer as a title for the lesser title of coder. The president of the Philippines, Duterte, is very anti-drugs to hide his own involvements with drug cartels off which he makes billions. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory at this point, but a lot of people still don't acknowledge that your internet searches and social media profiles are absolutely being used as training models by major IT companies. I was a drunk college student and had access to them to run AI training. If you still think you're off the grid, you're an idiot. Being frank, it's not a big deal if you don't have dark shit to hide. Those people are too busy building the new technological world to give a shit that you look at midget porn. But don't delude yourself to think people don't have access to anything you do on the internet. Some organization/group of people wanted all the Kennedys dead for some reason. The term conspiracy theory and its poor connotation was created by the US government specifically for skeptics of the official JFK assassination story. Just felt I should put that out there. The Laurel Canyon Conspiracy. Basically, if you look at the counterculture revolutionaries in the music industry in the 60s, most of them were the children of military intelligence people. So the theory is that the free love, lots of drugs movement they inspired was done intentionally to distract the youth from a full-scale revolution. The thought was if the angry youth of the mid to late 60s were too high and getting laid all the time, they would stop caring as much about societal ills and then basically sleepwalk through the 70s, which they did. I stumbled upon this when I was reading up on Jim Morrison and how his father was the one who called in the fake strike at the Gulf of Tonkin that kicked off the Vietnam War, and which was shown later to have been a false flag. Turns out, a lot of his contemporaries were also children of highly placed military people with ties to intelligence. Strange that they all wound up in Laurel Canyon as part of the same movement. Amelia Earhart was taken prisoner by the Japanese. The CIA was involved in selling crack to low-income black neighborhoods to fund activities they couldn't get approved by Congress. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people believe there was some involvement and it's just a matter of degree. But, I think they were nuts deep in directly smuggling and selling crack through intermediaries to black communities with full knowledge of the Justice Department and executive branch. Women's pants pockets are significantly smaller than men's pants pockets to encourage us to buy handbags and purses. There is a pedophile ring in Hollywood/government. The recommended food pyramid is created by the FDA, but the FDA is funded by a lot of certain food industries, poultry, dairy, etc. They in turn made the recommended nutrition based off of their funding by these companies, and not based on a well-balanced diet. The Vatican holds horrible dark secrets and many answers to existential questions. And that Area 51 is a publicity stunt by the government to hide the real testing facility. All social media platforms are direct result of Patriot Act and are used to keep tabs on everyone. Hence the billions of users. With algorithms to keep you addicted to the constant information and the dopamine-inducing likes. That Russians are behind the anti-vax movement as a way to thin the herd immunity for the next generation of Americans. Nuclear war is old news. The next big threat will be biological. That your phone's microphone is constantly hot and it's listening for keywords to target advertising. Most glaring instance where this happened to me was when I walked into a colleague's office. He had just gotten a standing desk, but one that goes on top of his existing desk rather than a standalone, pun? Model. That's important to note. I said, nice standing desk, when did you get that? Thanks, just today. He replied. That was literally all that was said about the desk. We talked about work-related stuff, and as I walked out and checked my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for that exact model of standing desk. I have never owned one, wanted one, or Googled one before. Yet there it was on my feed. Tinfoil hat be damned, they listen in. The government creates small disasters so they can frighten people and make them willingly give up their liberties in the name of safety. The ballistic missile threat that was sent to Hawaiians' cell phones saying, "Seek shelter, this is not a drill," that was later deemed a mistake, was a real missile that was intercepted before impact. The rich orchestrated the recession back in 2008 to take advantage of the market. Starbucks baristas are told to misspell customers' names so that they post photos on social media of their Starbucks cup. Check out how this guy spelt Barry. Borai? Lol SMH. UFOs are just time travelers from the future just checking us out. They keep their distance so not to disrupt anything and to cause a butterfly effect that may affect them. That we are living in a simulation. We've gone from no electricity 150 years ago to virtual reality. There may be civilizations billions of years more advanced. The reason that Prince Philip crashed his car last month was so that when you googled Prince Philip car crash it would return results from the event of 2019 rather than how he arranged the death of Princess Diana from behind the wheel of the never-traced white Fiat Uno.
Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.